Across the Illawarra, South Coast and Southern Highlands, this is Win News.
Tonight, a COVID cluster in crisis accommodation as a woman dies in Wollongong Hospital. Moderna vaccines are on their way, what you need to know. And Port Kembla overlooked in the latest spend on hydrogen fuel assets. Good evening, I'm Amy Duggan. Welcome to Win News. Also tonight, the dire situation facing the region's koala population. Just what are the chances the Aussie icon will become a distant memory? An 80-year-old Wollongong woman has died in hospital, marking the region's first local COVID death since the new strain hit. Authorities are concerned by case numbers in the Illawarra Shoalhaven after an alarming spike over the weekend. Of the 45 new confirmed cases, 28 are in the Wollongong LGA. Wingecarribee has also recorded 2 new cases. 7 were confirmed in the southern New South Wales LHD, but none are from the South Coast. Today, a drop in statewide cases gave some hope, but locally there's no reprieve. The deadly Delta strain infiltrating yet more vulnerable communities.
Police parked outside apartment blocks trying to stop the spread and protect those inside. Piccadilly Motor Inn and Kirriview accommodation locked down. Inside, dozens are isolating, including crisis housing tenants.
Homeless people are people who are very vulnerable. And they come in off the street and they just live from day to day, and they can't understand why they have to stay there for 14 days, but the health professionals are explaining it all to them. 11 people linked to the locations have contracted COVID. Goods and supplies, some donated, is being delivered. The main thing that they're looking for now, I suppose, is just things like snacks, coffee, and toiletries, particularly men's toiletries, deodorants and things like that. The state government chipping in too, allowing specialist homelessness providers to isolate residents.
We also provide them with extra funding for personal protective equipment and also additional staffing to be able to deal with outbreaks if they're to occur.
No new cases were linked to the cluster today, but tragically, confirmation of a woman in her 80s died in Wollongong Hospital. A local resident, she'd had 1 vaccine. A tragic turn as statewide numbers dropped to triple digits with a confronting warning.
Even if case numbers go down, we should expect, unfortunately, that the number of people in intensive care and the number of people who lose their lives to go up.
All month, Wollongong has consistently seen more than half the region's steadily growing case numbers. 20 of the 28 announced in Wollongong today are not yet linked to previous cases.
Please be vigilant for signs and symptoms. Come forward for testing and please take care as you go about your required activities.
Residents heeding the call waited hours to be tested, but it's unclear if our most testing time is behind us yet.
We're feeling more positive than we have in a couple of weeks, but we're not ready to call it.
Killy Royal, Win News.
Shoppers heading into popular supermarkets and malls will soon need to provide proof they're double vaxxed once trials of a new Service New South Wales passport have wrapped up. Contact tracers are burning the candle at both ends. In a bid to chase up a growing number of local exposure sites, shops, cafes and food outlets have been identified in Wollongong, Warrawong, Batemans Bay and Kiama in the latest update. It's adding weight to the government's campaign to bar non-vaccinated patrons from entering some venues.
When you go into a retail, say a big supercentre or a big shopping mall or a complex, there'll be a QR code, and when you use your QR code, it will also show whether or not you're vaccinated. That will all be in one step, so you won't need to have anything, a bit of paper in your pocket or anything else.
The big question remains, who will police the system? The government's shoring up its legal footing before rolling out the technology beyond trial sites in early October. Despite suffering a rare allergic reaction, a Southern Highlands man is imploring the community to get vaccinated and maintain our safety habits. Steve Westlake is immunocompromised and ended up in ICU after his first jab. But that hasn't stopped him booking in for his second, in a bid to lead the community out of lockdown.
With husband Steve immunocompromised, Sophie Westlake has been on